a not, and then we can say start quest, and we can say if on quest. Actually, you can go up to inc in multi-logic, I think, condition here. Right. So if on quest, then go to start quest. So sorry, if we want to go to on quest, the on quest not. Otherwise, go to start quest. Okay. Okay. And actually, let's do this. So, are you done yet? He'll just say, are you done yet? But we can have a whole dialogue thing where it's like... Now, also, we want to play an animation. So, there's a couple ways we can do this as I'm learning. We can continue to use tags. And just set up another tag that looks for like an animation key. And then passes that along. Or we can use a function. And there's ways to bind functions to this. So I want to try that. So let me bring up the documentation. Inc. bind functions. So if we go down here, bind external function, right? And that's how you call it. And then you do external. So you define the function up here. So we have the variable. We're going to call external. We're going to call it play animation. And we're going to say animation key. Okay. And then here we say, okay, play animation. And then we pass in talking. All right. And then when we get to the player, that here. We're going to play idle. Then we're going to play talking. 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 And I guess right before the ends, we have to switch them back to idle. 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 Okay. It says no issues. But it's not starting the quest. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. And you can call a function with ink. Yep. Play sound, for example. All right. Maybe this. What if I remove this? Does it work after that? It does. So it didn't like that. All right. So let's go back to using a tag. So tag animation talking idle talking 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 what if I added idle idle idle. Okay. All right, so there was an issue with it, so we're going to say yes. Okay. Now the next thing I wanted to do actually was duplicate the gameplay, call this alerts. On here we wanted to get rid of the objectives and the new quest. And on alerts we wanted to get rid of everything else. And we need to create a new alerts overlay, public class alerts overlay. And what we're going to do is I think we're going to move all this code over to alerts. Okay, and then we're going to move this to its own file. Let it compile. Remove this. Add alerts. This is going to block. It's not going to be interactable. That is the toast widget, and that is the objectives widget. Okay. Now the reason why I wanted to do this is because I was waiting until you exited the dialogue. I was like storing the quest to give you, but instead, we're going to do it while you get the string, and then do this. Service locator. Start quest. Okay. Almost there. And then in the game manager, when do we turn on the gameplay? So when we turn on the gameplay, we're just gonna open up the show, and we're gonna call this the alert overlay. We're just gonna set it up there. Okay. So now in the dialogue, we're hiding the gameplay UI, but we're going to keep the alerts there so that we can see it when we get the quest when we're talking to Grime. Let's see if this stuff fixed. Okay, so cool. That's a lot better. However, the dialogue wasn't working. So let's figure that out. Now that probably has to do with the changes we made. Open. Here. We didn't save these. So let's file. Export to JSON, Grime JSON, yes. Okay. Now, okay, so why did that happen? Windows Ink Player. Okay. Okay, so the variable works. Hey, thank you for coming to my stronghold. Continue. Can you fix it up and make it better? Yes. Yes, of course. Great. Okay. Always blank when story can continue is false. Dialogue service. Let's do else if. And it starts with animation. This is animation to play. And we'll have to figure out how to notify. Okay. Dialogue. Actually, while we're doing that, let's go to our... Do I have the animations that I wanted in here? Yes, I do. Dialogue animations. So let's go to animation, the villain animation handler. He's idle. Let's go to dialogue, animations. Talking goblin. Hmm. All right. Let's do substate machine. Let's call this talking. Let's drag in the 4 goblin animations here. 1. Wait, what? Should be 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the default layer. And then make transition, make transition, make transition, make transition. These will all have end times. And then this one will go to here. Why is it? It's so annoying. Okay. Trace in. Okay. So this is what we're working on. Sorry. We are going to try to make the goblin talk when he's delivering dialogue. Which is cool because we can try to work that in with Ink, which is the system we're using for dialogue. Via a tag, so we can say, you know, when he's delivering this line, you know, when it's this part of the dialogue, we want to trigger this animation. Now, what I'm doing here is, I'm creating a substate machine with all 4 talking animations that they have. It's going to start by transitioning from idle to idle. That's not a problem, right? In fact, this could even be an empty state, but whatever. It's only going to be here because we're going to use this to easily route them to one of these 4 animations. And we're going to do that with an integer. And we're going to call this random talk. Right? And so if random talk equals is actually we'll just say equals is equals to 0, it'll go to that one. If random talk is equal to 1, it'll go there. If random talk is equal to 2, it goes there. And finally, if random talk is equal to 3, it will go there. And we can turn off transition times. For this, end times doesn't have to play the whole idle animation. Right? So it's going to go into here. It's going to immediately go to the next one based on, in fact, I'm going to remove this idle. We're just going to call this empty. Because it's not even going to live here for a fraction of a second for a frame, because it's just going to make a decision. It's going to go to one of these 4. Now, how we're going to do that is we're going to add a behavior here. And we're going to call this random selection animation state behavior. Okay, so let's do namespace Dayanara animation behaviors. All right, now it gives us this handy template, and the only ones we care about is on state enter. Let's uncomment this. We don't care about 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 any of this. Okay. So we have a couple of things here that it tells us. First of all, it gives us access to the animator that's on the object. It gives us this animation state info, and it gives us the layer index that we're on. Now, all we really care about is we're going to select from a random range between 0, which, if I remember, is inclusive, and the max number, which is 4, which is exclusive. And then we're going to set the integer for random talk to that index. And I'm going to make this a constant. But actually, we're going to change this to private, read-only, static, integer. And this will be called the random talk hash. Sure. And this is the animator dot string to hash. Okay. So when we enter the state, we're going to pick a random number. We're going to set the integer, and then everything else should take over. Should immediately go to the next state. Now, what I would love to be able to do here, and I don't know how complicated it is. Let's see. State machine behavior, using a state machine behavior. State